The race to replace Justin Trudeau is now over. The final result, not even close.
In first place, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, with 131,674 votes.
Mark Carney is poised to become Canada's next Prime Minister.
I will work day and night with one purpose, which is to build a stronger Canada for everyone.
The former governor of the Bank of Canada crushed his competition, easily winning with a stunning 86% of the votes cast.
And my government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect.
Carney's first challenge, staring down a new American adversary.
And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. We didn't ask for this fight. But Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
President Donald Trump's 51st state taunts and tariff threats have changed the electoral equation, breathing new life into the Liberals.
From one old guy to another old guy. Stop this nonsense.
Jean Chrétien led Canada through the last referendum on Quebec independence. Now a rally cry in the face of a new national crisis.
Canada will continue to rise through north strong and free. Nobody will starve us into submission because Canada is and will remain the best country in the world. Vive le Canada!
And the outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau came with his own patriotic parting message, urging voters to stick with the Liberals as Canada grapples with an historic clash.
We're a country that will be diplomatic when we can, but fight when we must, elbows up.
His successor echoing that message.
When we come together, we build things that last because we are Canada strong. Vive la Canada. Merci tout le monde.
Carney's victory is impressive. He pulled in a higher share of the vote than what Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre got in his landslide victory. It's also higher than what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau got when he won more than a decade ago. Those two men are expected to sit down early this week to discuss the handover of power, and then Carney and his cabinet will be sworn in later this week.
And JP, an election could come soon after that.
Yeah, a federal election call is expected sometime before the end of the parliamentary prorogation on March 24th, setting up the country for a possible spring election. Ian?
JP Tasker in Ottawa tonight. Before the election call, there'll be a series of events in Ottawa set to begin this week. First up, Justin Trudeau is expected to meet with the Governor General to officially resign as Prime Minister in the coming days. Mary Simon will then invite the new Liberal leader to form government. Mark Carney will need to make quick decisions on his cabinet, and then he and those ministers will be sworn in. Parliament resumes from prorogation March 24th, but Carney could call a federal election before then. If that's the case, once the writ drops, the election campaign will last between 37 and 51 days, with the vote for the country's next prime minister landing on a Monday. While Carney has been a public figure for decades, many Canadians are just getting to know him. CBC News chief political correspondent Rosemary Barton now with some of his most notable career milestones.
This is no time for politics as usual.
Mark Carney pitched himself as an outsider, not a politician, but someone who would have the skills needed to meet the moment.
No, it's not the time for lifelong politicians such as Pierre Poilievre.
He was born in Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, raised in Edmonton. His father, Bob, ran for the Liberals, coming in second to the Progressive Conservatives. Carney studied economics abroad. For 13 years, he worked for global investment banking firm Goldman Sachs, before holding several senior positions at the Bank of Canada and in the finance department in Ottawa. In 2008, then Prime Minister Stephen Harper appointed Carney to run the Bank of Canada, the second youngest bank governor ever.
some of the world's largest financial institutions have recorded substantial losses.
Amid the global financial crisis, Carney called for widespread reforms to the world's financial system.
Double hats now as the head of the International Financial Stability Board.
Working alongside Harper Conservatives, Carney was credited for how well Canada weathered the financial storm compared to other nations. Even named as one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in 2010.
Canada has shone, relatively speaking, in the world during the period of time in which Governor Carney has served as the governor of the Bank of Canada.
In 2013, Carney became the governor of the Bank of England, becoming the first ever foreigner to be named to that role. He later agreed to stay on at the helm for 2 extra years to help ease the Brexit transition. More recently, Carney worked for investment firm Brookfield Asset Management, served as the United Nations Special Envoy on Climate Action.
2/3 of carbon being priced by the end of the decade.
For years, he supported a carbon tax, only to walk away from the policy at the start of the leadership race.
Why don't I become a circus clown? I mean, it's like...
For more than a decade, Carney toyed with the idea of running for the top job of the Liberal Party.
I have gainful employment, and I intend to continue it.
In 2020, Prime Minister Trudeau tapped Carney to serve as an informal advisor on the government's pandemic recovery plan.
Mark Carney!
He immediately became a front-runner in the leadership race when Trudeau resigned earlier this year. He has never held public office, but Liberals bought his pitch. Now he will have to convince Canadians.
Let's get some analysis now from CBC's chief political correspondent, Rosemary Barton. So, Rosie, a rookie politician becomes prime minister. What does Carney need to do to prove he can handle the job?
Well, he's done part of that already just tonight, Ian. This overwhelming victory, winning in every riding of the country, certainly gives him the strong mandate that he needs now to go forward and make some critical decisions for government and for the country. You know, this is a test, the first test that he's passed, and that was winning over Liberal support. The next test will be winning over Canadian support. Part of what his speech did tonight, though, was introduce himself to Canadians and try to unite them in the face of Donald Trump by saying he is the only one that can do that Pierre Poilievre taps into the divisions of the country in a way that Mark Carney doesn't. So you can already see him lying down some of the battle lines here that will be needed in an election campaign. But the win is really the big part of what he had to do, and the rest is still to come.
And what are you hearing about how quickly there could be a transition of control of this government?
So he will first have to be sworn in as prime minister. That should happen in a matter of days. It's the next piece that's kind of interesting, what a cabinet would look like. We're hearing that it will be way pared down, 20, 25 people. Some of the people will be cabinet ministers already in place in order to keep that Donald Trump relationship with the administration going. And some could even be people who are not elected outside of cabinet, who are brought in to create kind of a wartime cabinet to approach the tariff threats. The next piece then, obviously, Ian, is how quickly Mark Carney wants an election, and because he doesn't have a seat and because he wants a mandate, you heard a whole bunch of Liberals here tonight asking for one very quickly, something they would not have wanted just 2 months ago. So things are about to get pretty darn busy on the political landscape in this country, Ian.
Well, it's pretty darn busy for you today. Great work, Rosie. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you.
Mark Carney will lead a party that has sprung back to life in the polls, starting when Justin Trudeau announced he was resigning. The big Liberal slide goes back to May 2023, when the Conservatives led by less than 3 points. That gap began to widen week after week, month after month. Early in January, the Conservatives led by a staggering 24 points, but that was also the day Trudeau announced he would step down as leader and prime minister. Since then, the Conservative lead has narrowed. As of last week, it was less than 10 points. So let's hear what people are saying about the choice of Carney to lead the Liberals into the next election. Lisa Shing has rounded up reaction from party supporters, political rivals, and the voters Carney hopes to win over.
Elation for Mark Carney within the Liberal Party and mixed feelings among some Canadians.
I'm excited for the new skill sets he can bring in.
I wouldn't give him much hope, or the country much hope, if he's our next leader.
We could have better options, but right now that's who we have, and I think he's pretty good.
The new Liberal leader and Prime Minister-designate coming in during a critical trade war with the U.S.
Who's ready to put Canada first?
Even before Carney's win, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre already on the attack at a packed rally. He likened Carney to Justin Trudeau and blamed him for the rising cost of living.
Sneaky Mark Carney's going to try to pull a fast one on you.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh posting on X, "We will disagree on many ideas, priorities, and policies, but we should always stand united in protecting our country." Polls suggest many voters like this deli owner want a leader who's equipped to take on Donald Trump.
I don't think this change will make much of a difference. We need someone in there that can actually stand up to him because we're just getting bullied around.
Others say the former governor of the Bank of Canada and Bank of England is best positioned to fight a trade war.
Who do you think is better suited to take on the situation from the South?
If you had asked me in December, it would have been Pierre Poilievre. If you ask me today, I'm not quite sure, frankly.
Why not?
Because I think Mark Carney has the better credentials that we might need.
I voted Liberal in the past. I voted Conservative in the past. But I'd like to see somebody who can bring Canada together and deal with the economic threats that we're having with the U.S. right now. And I think Carney is the guy.
So I think we do agree that Poilievre is a good candidate. I just think Carney's better.
Voters who now see Canada's political landscape in a whole new light. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.